Crimson Trace announces Link, the world's first wireless laser and white light system, combining a green laser and 300 lumen light with instinctive activation for AR-type rifles. Link, smart, simple, secure. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, lessons of preparation for unexpected emergency situations, the danger of a negligent government, a new take on suppressors, and more. Call in now, 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have some fun today. Hey, I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk. We're broadcasting in remote land in the Pacific Northwest. We're actually up in Idaho, where I love to come up here. Got a little snow, a little cold. Getting ready to go do a little bit of deer hunting up here, so it's all good, as they say. And we can certainly talk about hunting, rifles, cartridges, scopes, handgun hunting. Have you ever tried that? Man, it's fun. It's kind of like bow hunting. You get closer. You're putting restrictions on yourself. It's a fun deal. If you're a handgun hunter, love to hear from you. There are a lot of things going on. And, oh, yeah, if you'd like to join us, if you have something on your mind, if you'd like to share one of your range reports, something you have been out shooting. It could be a new gun, it could be an old gun, or it might be a tale of taking somebody to the range and introducing them to shooting. Or it might be just one of those stories of, you're not going to believe what I saw at the shooting range this week. Oh, we love to get those stories too. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. As expected, no surprise whatsoever, right? I mean, this is predictable. It is as predictable as the sun coming up in the east every day. When there is a highly publicized shooting, and the Lord knows the one in Vegas was highly publicized, and it should be. It was a horrific attack. The gun control groups and legislators just open a file on their computer and hit a key, and they pull up whatever the gun restriction, the gun rights restriction that they want, pops up, and then they just shoot it out there. Well, if we had this, really? That's what you got? Let's see. What was the latest one? Some of them just kind of leave you shaking your head. Okay. Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut. He said he disagrees with Senator Dianne Feinstein, Democrat, California. When Feinstein was asked whether any law passed could have prevented the massacre in Las Vegas, she said no. Okay, well, Senator Murphy says, well, I respectfully disagree with my colleague. You wait for it. Well, you knew it was coming, right? He says, it is correct that he, the shooter in Vegas, would have passed a background check. And he would have been able to own weapons, said Murphy. He said, but what if he did not have an assault weapon? What if the assault weapons ban still applied? What if he was up in the hotel with a pistol or a shotgun or a non-semi-automatic rifle? Pay attention to the wording here. It's as important. Because to him, an assault weapon ban is a ban on all semi-automatic rifles. Okay, he says maybe he would have gone through with the crime, but I guarantee you less people would be dead. Now, this story is on the Hill. It says, the assault weapons ban signed by President Bill Clinton in 1994 prohibited 19 types of military-style assault weapons. Close. It expired after 10 years in 2004, but it's not clear that it helped reduce crime, given that loopholes, a.k.a. provisions, depends on if you like it or don't like it, loopholes in the law allowed gun manufacturers to make small alterations to features on the guns to bring them into compliance and back on the market. For those who weren't around then, let me explain. 1994 Clinton gun ban, also known as the assault weapons ban. What they did is they said, well, look, these are the features that make an assault weapon. And you're just kind of waiting for it. Yeah, because we know that there's no such thing as an assault weapon. There's no definition for it. So they're groping around to say, what can we say that will help us ban this, as many guns as we can, really is what it amounts to. How can we encompass as many as we can? Well, for them, it would be a rifle that is semi-automatic and has a flash suppressor. Okay, that's really important. No. It has a bayonet lug. Yeah, I haven't heard of a lot of bayonettings recently. Pistol grip, it went on and on. There were several features there. So they established a definition based on cosmetic, let me repeat, cosmetic features. The manufacturers of firearms looked at that and went, well, okay, is there a way for us to still comply with the law? Well, sure, we'll take off the flash suppressor. We'll take off the bayonet lug. And they just continued to sell these firearms. The crime rate did not change, as you would expect it would not, because for those of us who know, we actually look at the FBI data, we know that fewer people are killed with rifles than are killed with fists and feet. And semi-automatic firearms are a subset, if you will, a subset of all rifles. So more people kill with fists and feet than with semi-automatic firearms, or rifles, that is. But to him, to this senator, a reinstallment of the assault weapons ban is what's needed. He goes on to say, he says, well, gun control advocacy groups like the Brady Campaign and Gabby Gifford's group, Americans for Responsible Guns or Responsible Solutions, have inadequately responded. All right, love this next one. He says, they haven't been effective, and the Democratic Party was culpable in this respect. There was a mythology built up after 1994 that Democrats lost their seats because of their vote on the crime bill that included the assault weapons ban. He says, I've looked at all the data, and I'll tell you that's not the case. Well, except that for this. For those of us who are around then, President Bill Clinton, in his State of the Union address, looked out at the crowd and says, boy, we sure lost a lot of Democrats. If you remember, up till that point, the Democrats had controlled Congress for 40 years, 4 decades. It was, in fact, the passage of the Clinton gun ban that cost the Democrats control of Congress. And Bill Clinton stood there in his State of the Union address and said exactly that. And then, of course, he said, well, that was a good thing because you stood up, for what was right, blah, blah, blah. And here's what happened. The rest of the Democrats are sitting there, looked around at those seats that had been changed and they had lost to Republicans, and they all went, I'm not going to do that. And let's drill down so that we can put the fine point on this before I'm finished with the subject. Why did they lose their seats in Congress? Because the people, you and me, and millions of Americans, don't want more gun control. Despite what the media tells you, despite what the gun banners tell you, despite what Nancy Pelosi tells you, we don't want restrictions on our rights. We like our rights. We actually would like to have more rights. We would like for the government to get their cotton-picking hands off of our rights. So when they said, we're going to institute a gun ban, make no mistake, this was a gun ban, we reacted and said, really? That's what you want to do? Fine. We will simply send you home and we will put somebody back in there in your place who won't institute gun bans. And here's the beautiful part of the whole thing. You talk about your unintended consequences. The Democrats had control of Congress for 40 years. In their minds, they were going to have control of Congress forever. The only way that they were able to pass this bill, and it was a tie vote, and Al Gore cast the deciding vote as vice president. So it's 50-50. He threw the deciding vote in. The way that they got it passed is they said, all right, here's what we'll do. Yeah, sure, we'll do this. They're waving their hands. We'll put a sunset provision in it. That means that in 10 years, if it's not renewed, this gun ban will sunset and will go away. All of them chuckling to themselves and going, yeah, right. We're not going to ever let this thing sunset. Except that the delicious irony of the whole thing was by passing the gun ban, the Clinton gun ban, it cost them control of Congress. And 10 years later, in 2004, when this gun ban was going to be renewed, they no longer controlled Congress, and so it was allowed to sunset, so it went away. It's a beautiful thing. So it's a silly thing to think that a gun ban, a ban on semi-automatic firearms, or anything else will stop this guy. We can talk about that, but the question I have for you is, what are your friends saying? Are you hearing some of your gun-owning friends saying, well, maybe we ought to look at this? That's a fool's game, and we play into their gun ban fantasies when we do that. What are you hearing out there? And also love to get your range reports. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. Back in a minute with more Gun Talk.
Legends aren't born legendary. They are proven legendary. Like the new FN 509 handgun, a direct result of over 1 million rounds of testing and a direct descendant of over 125 years of legendary FN firearms. The world's most battle-proven firearms. The FN 509, a legend in the making. Find out more at fnamerica.com.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Batagroup. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Every crossbreed holster is handmade based on the design invented by our founder. A Kydex pocket molded around your gun for perfect retention. Leather backing for comfort. Specially designed clips allow you to tuck in your shirt for complete concealment. The highest quality mag carriers and belts sturdy enough to hold any gun. Our holsters come with a lifetime warranty and 2-week try-it-free guarantee. Crossbreed. Conceal and carry the cross. CrossbreedHolsters.com.
The pistol that redefined pocket carry just got even better. The Ruger LCP2 has improved sights, an easy-to-rack slide, a larger textured grip surface for a secure grip and recoil reduction, and a short, crisp, single-action trigger pull for real-world accuracy. It's so small and light that there's no reason to ever leave home without your LCP2. A serious pistol in a pint-sized package. Learn more about the LCP2 at Ruger.com.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at GalleryofGuns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. GalleryofGuns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
All right, we're going to give away stuff. We do that all the time. This month, we're giving away a heck of a prize package from Nosler. If you go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, you can take a look at it. We're giving away the CMMG Mark IV V2 rifle in 22 Nosler. A really fun deal. An ammo can with 300 rounds of 22 Nosler match-grade ammo. First prize, Odin Works 22 Nosler barrel, 18-inch DMR rifle. It goes on and on. We've got upper receivers. We've got ammo, Nosler prize packages. Again, go to guntalk.com/win and enter for a chance to win. A lot of things going on. Let's see. Gun Dealio, if you have Gun Dealio, be sure to update to the latest version. It won't work if you don't update it because there are so many new features. We basically just kind of had to move away from the old platform. Stuff moves fast in the software world, as we are learning. Some really interesting things going on in gun rights right now. Really interesting. We have in Washington, D.C., for you to get a concealed carry permit in D.C., of course, at first they had no concealed carry permits, and we had to sue them. And we won that one. We had to go back and sue them again. go to the Supreme Court, win that one. Now we had to sue them because they said, well, you can get a permit, but you have to show good cause in order to get a permit. We said, well, you don't have to show good cause to exercise a constitutional amendment. What is that? So the circuit court said, no, you're right. D.C., they can't do that. And D.C., it's just interesting. I'm looking at another article on The Hill. D.C. actually said, well, this past week the Supreme Court declined to hear the government's appeal. That's actually not correct. D.C. actually did not take it to the Supreme Court. They decided they would not appeal. So their good cause provision is gone. But here's the problem. In California, you have to have good cause. Ooh, that would seem like a conflict because the Ninth Circuit has ruled that you have to have good cause. Huh. Well, here's another one coming for you. The Ninth Circuit, California. Federal court has ruled, it upheld an Alameda County law barring gun stores within 500 feet of residential properties. The ruling came in a 9-2 en banc panel. What they said was there's no constitutional right to sell guns. Let that sink in just a minute. If there's no constitutional right to sell guns, you can have a right to own guns, to keep and bear arms, but they could actually ban the sale of guns. I'm trying to put those two together. How do you acquire guns if they can say, well, there's no right to sell guns? It's, well, I was going to say bizarre, but let me just say it's the Ninth Circuit, the most overturned circuit there is. Let's see. One jurist says, our cases continue to slowly carve away the fundamental right to keep and bear arms. Today's decision further lacerates the Second Amendment, deepens the wound, and dissembles the death, and resembles the death by 1,000 cuts, which is what they're doing. Piece at a time, slice at a time, just a nick at a time. So, tell you what, let's go line 3. Robert's with us out of Oregon. Hey, Robert, what's on your mind today?
A lot. I like what your show is today. We have a real big, serious problem. One, we have active judges on the courts, and every gun control law in the United States is unconstitutional. They're trying to take away our liberty to protect ourselves from the tyrannical government that we have running on and make us like slaves like North Korea. That's what this whole thing is. Every gun law in the United States is unconstitutional. It says so very clearly in the Second Amendment, shall not be infringed upon. We are the militia, the American people. We are the American people, and therefore we have a right to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government like Obama's underground government and so forth.
Well, you know, it's an interesting point. I appreciate the call. Yeah, that's what the Second Amendment was about. And it does make a lot of people uncomfortable when you say, look, the Second Amendment is about controlling the government. Yes, we have self-defense rights, but the Second Amendment was basically a stopgap against a tyrannical government. And people say, well, yeah, we couldn't fight the government. It has all these weapons. Really? We have 300 million guns. There's 100 million of us. And while it's hard to imagine, close to being unthinkable, that we would ever get to that place, the idea that 100 million people, and take 10% of that, that would be 10 million people. Take 1%, 1 million people. If you have 100 million people who are willing to say, no, I'm not going to subject myself or subjugate myself, that's a lot of people. Just saying. In the continuing saga of the Democrats, I mean, let's just call it what it is. The Democrats warning to ban as much as they can. Any gun, any part of a gun, any piece of a gun, any gun that looks like anything else. Now we have this story says, Nevada Democrats join bill to ban high-capacity gun magazines. We would call that standard capacity. Now, I'm going to read you the first paragraph and the last paragraph, and you see what you see. See if you see what I see here. Nevada's congressional Democrats have joined in legislation that would bar the sale, importation, or possession of gun magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition. We'll go down to the last paragraph. The proposed law wouldn't apply to those who already have weapons magazines that carry more than 10 rounds. Wait. They said they were going to ban the possession. For those who haven't really thought this through, when you ban the possession of something, the only thing you can do is confiscate them. You have to have some kind of a turn-in program. Or are we prepared to purchase, oh my heavens, how many magazines would that be? 100 million? A billion? I don't know. Every competition shooter I know has at least 50 magazines. Many of them have 500 magazines. I know people, I'm one of them, when I buy mags, I buy them 100 at a time. Yeah, I said 100 at a time. So they want to ban the possession, aka confiscate. You'll love this. They call this bill the Keep Americans Safe Act, authored by Elizabeth Esty of Connecticut. One of them says, Rosen said there's no single solution to the gun violence and massacre that occurred in Las Vegas, but restricting the number of rounds a weapons magazine can carry would reduce the threat. High-capacity magazines have no practical purpose for hunting or self-defense, she said. Really? Okay, so tell all the police officers out there who are carrying patrol rifles, a.k.a. the things you're calling assault weapons, that they can only have 10 rounds. And see what kind of reaction you get. Because when you need a self-defense firearm, you don't know how many you're going to need. It really is as simple as that. You might need 1, you might need 30, you might need more than that. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about a very interesting book titled We're from the Government and We're Here to Kill You. You're going to want this one. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you here. We're lining up our guest here. It's going to be fascinating. We had a phone issue here. We'll get him right back here. But I will work on that. I'm sure we're going to get him back in just a second. When you look at the literature, the scholarship, if you will, of the Second Amendment, one name comes up a fair amount. And while you guys are working on getting Dave back, just let me know. David Hardy is a name that keeps coming up time and again. If you go back 30 years, you look at his book, The Origins and Development of the Second Amendment. Government lawyer. He's a good government lawyer in D.C. Now, you got to know you're going to like this guy because one of his books is Michael Moore is a big, fat, stupid white man. Also, one of his books and his actions, lawsuits, blew open and made a complete lie of the government story about Waco and what happened there, the attack, and just the incredible lies there. Well, David has a brand new book out titled I'm from the Government and I'm Here to Kill You. We're joined right now by David T. Hardy. Dave, how are you?
Oh, very good this fine Sunday.
Thank you so much for being with us. I was just talking about, one of the things I would like to touch on before we talk about your new book is you really were the one who blew open the truth about what happened at Waco. And a lot of people in the public still don't know the truth. Would you think that's probably a fair assessment?
Oh, yes. I'd say the vast majority of the public doesn't. I and Mike McNulty, a documentary maker back around 1999-2000, made a bunch of discoveries that led to the appointment of an independent counsel who thereupon helped in the cover-up, but that's life. And Waco gets a chapter in my book, the latest book, including some things that even after the investigation, were not known.
Well, if you were to explain to somebody, and they said, here's like 2 things that you think you know about Waco that turned out to not be true, what would they be?
Let's see. First would be that they couldn't arrest David Koresh peacefully because he never left the building and they didn't know what he looked like. That is in the official report of the Treasury Department. What I've got, and in the book and in the webpage explaining it, I got a report of what 3 undercover agents did 9 days before the raid and shootout. They went shooting with David Koresh. No kidding. It's in their own report, duly signed by their bosses.
But covered up and lied about in the official report.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't get them out of the building. You just knock on the door and say, hey, we got some AR-15s. Want to go shooting?
Okay. What would be the other one?
There's so many there contending.
I know.
Let's see. That essentially the fire was so fatal just because it spread rapidly. Well, that was the factor. The other factor was that the FBI deliberately held up the fire engines.
With children in there burning up.
Yeah. And on the webpage, I've got the FBI radio traffic. I really got it during the fire.
Right.
And the agent leader at the scene in the M1 tank is calling for fire trucks. His boss, who is about a mile up the road and is holding them up, is just silent. And finally, the boss comes on and says, "Are people focused on the school bus area for the kids?" And the guy at the scene says, "That's what we're trying to do." And then the boss says, "They're the only ones, I hope." And there's a bit of silence, and the guy on the scene again shouts for the fire engines, and all you get is silence. There's no fire engines pulling up in the video, just silence.
Now, for those who don't understand, you were, for a decade, a government lawyer in D.C. You know the insides of this, and you have this new book, I'm from the government, I'm here to kill you. Really? Yeah, a lot of people are going to say, really? That's pretty harsh. What are you talking about here?
Well, it's reality. The fact of the matter is that legally, it's very difficult to sue the government and almost impossible unless they violated a constitutional provision, which, just being sloppy and killing somebody by negligence isn't. And, the agencies know they can get away with a lot, and they structure it so that they can get away with a lot. Even here in Tucson a while ago, there's a 7 falls, which is a set of 7 falls, and if you go over them, you die. There's been 1 or 2 survivals in all of history. And someone suggested stationing a forest ranger up there to make sure people don't get close to the area where they'll be in danger. And the answer was, we can't do that because that would increase our legal risk. I thought about it for a second. The one way you get a claim against the federal government is if you had a policy and someone broke it. So what they're saying is, so long as we don't station anybody up there for safety, then he can't be negligent because he's not there, and we can't be negligent because, hey, it's our policy choice. So,
you have to laugh because otherwise you'd cry. You start off in your book, you're talking about, and a lot of people don't know about the Texas City explosion with about 1946, 47. 600 people died in this massive, almost nuclear-sized explosion that devastated, wiped out a town. Because of what? Because of government negligence?
Yes, several levels of it. The government needed fertilizer to be shipped to Europe for the Marshall Program, and some genius decided we were making sensitized ammonium nitrate explosive for bombs. I bet they'd make good fertilizer, too. So they produced it in massive quantities under conditions where the guys running the factories, which were in fact ordnance plants, were telling them this stuff is dangerous. We should be making it more slowly. And they refused. Go ahead, full speed. 2,300 tons of it were put on a ship in Texas City Harbor. It caught fire and blew up, killing about 600 people. The ship next to it caught fire and blew up, killing only a few because they're already dead. They shipped what remained to Europe through a different harbor, and it got to France before it blew up. But essentially, then the government, the people involved sued the government. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, which said, no, you have no suit. This was negligence, and it killed people. But due to the way the law is written, you cannot sue the government over it.
And tell you what, David, hold on a second. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I want to talk about, okay, what does that mean to us as gun owners, and is there anything that we can do? David's got some thoughts on that. He's the author of the new book, I'm From the Government, and I'm Here to Kill You. I'm Tom Gresham. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
Get ready for something totally new from LMT. A short personal defense weapon with an integral suppressor. Featuring new suppressor technology from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, the CSW, or Confined Space Weapon, has a 24-inch overall length profile and includes their new high-performance suppressor that can shoot supersonic and subsonic ammunition with no changes. Chambered for the 300 blackout, the CSW allows quick movement in tight quarters. For more, visit lmtdefense.com.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
The Black Hills. There's nothing like it on Earth. The kind of place where characters become legends. Wild Bill Hickok, Crazy Horse, Calamity Jane. Pick any part of the world and you'll find people go there to make it their own. But this is where people come to get made. This is the place that made the people who make the best ammo on Earth. Black Hills Ammunition.
Hardcore tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. For decades, Surefire has built the first and finest professional-grade flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, hearing protection, and suppressors. We build the best because lives depend on it, and we know failure is not an option. We design, engineer, and manufacture Surefire products right here in the U.S. For you, for your loved ones, Surefire. American built, American strong. Surefire.com.
You know and trust Springfield Armory. Now that trusted gunmaker has an AR-15 rifle with all the features you want. The Saint features a mid-length gas system, a heavy tungsten buffer, and a 16-inch chrome Molly barrel with a 1-in-8 twist rate. Plus, the Saint has Bravo Company's Key Mod handguard, the next generation of America's personal defense rifle. See video of the Saint in action at springfield-armory.com. That's springfield-armory.com.
All right, welcome back. Tom Gresham here. We're talking with David Hardy. He is the author of a new book, I'm From the Government, and I'm Here to Kill You. David, I don't want people to think you're some kind of whacked out guy out in a bunker here. I mean, you've been a government attorney. You are a scholar, a constitutional scholar. You've written about and argued cases about the Second Amendment. You've been following this forever. Why this book?
Well, I think more than anything else, it was after I got out of the government, after some years, I do really have a sense of justice. And it's so seldom achieved in this world. And this is one area where I think there are great injustices. And I think that's what got me fired up enough to write the book. Just to, maybe if we can point out to people, here are great legal injustices, here's the way to solve them. Then it's not hopeless. Here's how to solve them. Written by a guy who used to be a government attorney at GS-14 at the top of the bureaucracy.
You used to be one of these guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so all right, so we have institutionalized a policy of immunity, if you will, we can kill hundreds of people through negligence, but if we didn't violate a policy, we're okay. And for those who don't quite understand, what happened was this Texas City case goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, nope, you can't actually sue the government for this. They may have screwed up, but they didn't do it on purpose, and that's just the way it goes. Then we go to Ruby Ridge, where the lies were unbelievable, and you document all that. We go to Waco, same thing, lie. And then lying. Here's the one thing I want people to understand, and David, you've been there through all of these. What people know, with big quotes around the word know, about Ruby Ridge and about Waco is almost all incorrect. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Their only sources of info were the mass media, and the media's only sources were the government press conferences. Mm-hmm. So what you were hearing was basically a government press conference created by people who didn't too much care about the truth.
Yeah, I mean, the people who machine gunned 14-year-old Sammy Weaver in the back, the people who told the sniper, anybody who has a gun there, whether or not they're doing anything, whether or not they're threatening you, you have a shoot-to-kill order. You can shoot this woman who is armed with only an infant in her arms and killed her. And the people who came away from it actually all got promotions and awards.
Yeah. A few of them got minor sanctions, like a letter of reprimand.
Oh, my. Yes.
One of them got a letter of reprimand and a promotion, showing just how much a letter of reprimand is valued.
And I point out to people, I said, and they said, well, he was holed up at the mountain. He was in it. I said, look, at its core, you know what this was all about? This was about a $200 tax.
Yeah.
If he had, in fact, cut a barrel off shorter than the approved legal length, he could have made that legal by paying a $200 tax. So all of this happened because he didn't pay his $200 tax. Same for Waco. If they say, well, he had full automatic guns there, $200 tax. That's what all this is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at Waco, I can show quite clearly they had exactly one gun capable of full auto fire, and it may have been legal. Because there is the audio tape of that was made in the ATF radio van that picks up the sounds around them. It's an open mic. Mm-hmm. And about 12 minutes in the firefight, you hear a burst of full auto. And then you hear a radio command about tell the snipers to shoot Tower 2. And then you hear someone shouting jubilantly, we got him, we got him. Well, okay, so all these guys are put on trial for using full auto weapons, and I saw the testimony under oath that they were being fired upon by everything from 30 caliber Brownings to 50 caliber Brownings to Kalashnikovs to M16s. It was all a lie. It was exactly one guy who had anything full auto. It may have been legal, and he got killed. So he wasn't present at the trial.
Okay, so this is all very depressing to me because what you're saying is the government can kill us and get away with it with impunity, and yet you say there is a solution. What is that?
Complete change of the Federal Tort Claim Act, which is now, 60, 70 years old, and was sort of an experiment when it came in. Just changed it to where essentially the government is liable for killing people or seriously injuring them through its negligence. That's all. I trust we can run the country and function correctly while still paying out for people we injure through negligence. Everybody else does it. General Motors does it.
I was just going to say, if I kill somebody through negligence, I'm held responsible for that.
Sure.
Why not the government?
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. Change the tort law and say, look, the government, you are liable if you kill someone through negligence, and you don't get a free pass on this.
Yeah, that's all it takes. It's the simplest fix you can imagine. I think my proposed fix goes like 2 or 3 pages in double-spaced printing. It's very
David,
simple.
it is a fascinating book. I got to thank you. I'm up against my time break here. The title of the book is I'm From the Government and I'm Here to Kill You. It's available on Amazon. Also, let's see, David has a website, which is fromthegovernment.com. You can see all about the book. You can kind of read up on it. You can actually buy it right there. So go to fromthegovernment.com. David Hardy, a noted scholar and a really good author. He is one of the good guys. He's been there for all of us. All right, back with the 866 Talk Gun. We'll get you in here. Let's go to line 3. Kurt's with us out of Florida. Kurt, what's on your mind?
Hi there, Tom. How are you today?
I'm great. What do you got?
Hey, I've got a Liberty safe with the electronic combination lock, and went to open it yesterday evening, and nothing happens. There's just absolutely not a chirp, not a sound. And I changed the batteries just on the thought that it might be a battery problem, but no luck with that. I was just wondering if you've ever had an experience with that, Tom.
Well, I've not. I'm looking at my notes here. Michelle says that last time you went to the safe, it worked. So it was working, and now it's not working. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I opened it a couple of days ago to do my dehumidifier. Went back yesterday evening to open it up, and nothing happened. And again, changed the batteries, and it's made no difference. It's like it's dead. Just very funny.
Okay,
no symptoms, no warnings.
What kind of batteries? I don't have electronic locks, so I'm not real familiar. What kind of batteries does it take?
It takes a 9-volt, and I use the Duracell alkaline power cell like they recommend.
Okay. Is there a chance that, and I have had this happen, that the battery you put in there, the replacement battery, is also dead?
No, I bought a fresh box of a dozen yesterday at our battery store, and I think I know what the answer is going to probably be. It's probably going to be to call a locksmith and do a violent entry, and I will go to mechanical going forward.
Well, before you go there, call Liberty Safe. They don't want you to have a problem with their safe. Just call them tomorrow morning when they're open and say, "Hey, this is what's going on." And they'll go, "Yeah, okay. Here's what we're going to do. We'll take, I guarantee you, they will have a solution for you.
Okay, well, good. Well, I will call them in the morning, absolutely, and I appreciate that. I'm just hoping against hope, because I think that's going to be expensive if I have to change it out myself.
I think you may find it to be a whole lot less of a thing than you think it's going to be. My personal experience is I have found the folks at Liberty to be pretty phenomenal with their customer service, and they have stores scattered all around. Did you buy that safe locally?
Yeah, well, I bought it via our local Lowe's a few years ago, but it was purchased and delivered and everything.
Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, obviously they're not open right now, but if you give them a call tomorrow, call Liberty, say, look, this is what's going on, and let them work it through. And what they're liable to do, I don't know, but what they're liable to do is send somebody out to take care of it for you. Chances are they're not going to have to do any kind of pry bar violent entry. What I find is that they have ways, as we say.
Well, I sure hope so. At least one thing, Tom, you've made me feel a little easier for Sunday afternoon. How's that?
Yeah, rest easy. We're going to get your guns out of there. It's going to be okay. Don't go taking a torch to it just yet, okay?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, I appreciate it. And, give them a holler first thing in the morning. They'll take care of you. Oh, yeah. It is frustrating, though, in electronic stuff. I go mechanical, but look, there's nothing says a mechanical lock can't go whizzy on you or whatever. It's stuff. Stuff breaks. Toward that end, I would not want to keep something that I was relying on for self-defense for my home in a safe, period. Maybe one of the small locking vault safes, but I would still want to have like a backup for that, because if that didn't work, ask yourself this: what am I going to do if that doesn't work? We go through that a lot in training. And they say, well, what are you going to do with this? Well, I'm going to do that. And then I say, okay, and what are you going to do when that doesn't work? They go, what? What are you going to do when that doesn't work? You better have a plan B, C, D, and maybe an E. That's the difference. The pros have all of those. Everybody else is thinking, well, I'll shoot him and he'll fall down like in the movies, really. So what are you going to do if your safe doesn't open when you go to it? Do you have a backup? Hey, it's just mechanical stuff. It really is pretty much as simple as that. Hey, when we come back, we're going to be talking about defensive training, the stuff you need to save your life.